Hey, good Sunday morning, January the 12th, 2025. Nap Lajoie, Hall of Fame. I'm looking at his career. Started playing 1896, 21 years old. He went through 1916, 41 years old. 21-year career. There's an interesting stat. I didn't know this. He played 2,480 games. Did you know that Ty Cobb played over 3,000 games? And we know he got 4,189 hits, right? So if you play a long time, your hit total is going to go up. How about Nap Lajoie? Let's see. It's about 600 more games, or no, 600 less games than Ty Cobb, yet still accumulated 3,243 hits. That's a really good ratio of hits per game played. Did you know that if presuppose, let's say a hypothetical, if Nap Lajoie had played 600 more games to get over the 3,000 game total, like Ty Cobb, let's say he averages a hit a game, but he was averaging more than that in his career. But 600 more games would give him 600, maybe 700 more hits, maybe 750. You know what that means? If Nap Lajoie had played 3,000 games like Ty Cobb, it's possible he could have been close to 4,000 hits career. Let's do the math. All right. You take his hit total and you divide it by the games, and you'll get a ratio of hits per game played. So he had 3,243 hits. Divided by 2,480 games. That's a ratio of 1.31 hits per game played. 1.31. Now, Cobb had a better ratio. Cobb had about a 1.38 ratio of hits per game played. But let's presuppose and let's just have some fun with some numbers. How many games did Ty Cobb play? All right, let's go there. Let's see. I'll type in Ty Cobb at Baseball Reference. How many games? I got to get the exact number. Played 3,034 games. And Nap Lajoie 2,480. So 3,034 minus 2,480. All right. I said 600. The exact number is 554 games. Ty Cobb played more than Nap Lajoie. So remember I said that Nap Lajoie was averaging 1.31 hits per game played. Let's do the math. Take 554 more games times 1.31. That's 725 hits. So if he had played the same number of Nap Lajoie, played the same number of games as Ty Cobb, we have to add 725 hits because he was averaging 1.31 hits per game played. Following me? So how about this? Nap Lajoie had 3,243 hits career, but if he plays 554 more games to match Ty Cobb, you got to add 725 hits because he's averaging 1.31 hits per game played. 3,968 hits. And if he had played just a little bit more, he would have been over 4,000 career hits. I did not know that about Nap Lajoie, that he was on that pace, and he is how good of a player and hitter he really was. You talk about the greatest hitters of all time. You're always thinking of Ty Cobb, 366. You're thinking of Rogers Hornsby, 358. Joe Jackson's 356. You got Ed Delante up there, 346. Tris Speaker, 345. Of course, Ted Williams, 344. Billy Hamilton's 344. You're thinking of these guys. How often do you think of Nap Lajoie as one of the greatest hitters of all time? I really haven't paid attention to this guy, but since I'm covering his career right now, finding out some interesting stats. This guy was really good. All right, this video, the 1902 season, he just came off a historic 1901 where he batted 426. I pointed out that this is he's in the top 3 greatest batting average seasons of all time. Hugh Duffy's 440, Tip O'Neill's 435, and you got Nap Lajoie's 426. Top 3 greatest batting average seasons of all time, based on my criteria of 500 or more at bats. Look at the 1901 video, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Roger Hornsby had a 424, and he had over 500 at bats. So he's up there as far as the top batting average seasons of all time. 1902, how did Nap Lajoie do after his 426? A little disappointed. He only played 87 games. I don't know what happened. Maybe injured, maybe sick. 87. So that's about 60 games, right? Let's see, 60, whatever. 60 plus games he missed. Got 81 runs scored. He had 352 at bats. 133 hits. The year before he had 232. So he has 100 less hits. 1902, 35 doubles. Isn't that interesting? This guy was a doubles machine. He got 657 career. So every year he's like 30, 40 doubles. 14 triples. 5 triples, sorry. 35 doubles, 5 triples, 7 homers, 65 RBI. All right, 20 stolen bases, 19 walks. His batting average for the year, though, 378, but it's just 87 games. And it's only 352 at bats. If he had 500 at bats, could he have maintained 378? Maybe. Maybe higher, maybe lower. 419 on base, 565 slugging, 199 total bases. So 1902, a little letdown because he only plays the 87 games. Still has the high batting average. Still has accumulated a lot of hits, 133 in the amount of games he played. So he's in 7 years in the league, right? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, his 7th season. And he's batted 300 or better every season. Here's my main point about this video. I did not realize how good of a hitter Nap Lajoie was until covering this season. And we've got a lot more years to go. He plays until 1916. So the next video I'm covering, 1903 season. Let's see how he does. We'll keep analyzing. And what I want to do at the end, after I finish looking at every season of him, I'm going to rank this guy. Where does he belong among the greatest hitters of all time? And we can compare the numbers. Look at Ty Cobb, look at Hornsby, Jackson, Joe Jackson, Ed Delante. I talked about Speaker, Delante, Williams, Ted Williams. Also, you got Tony Gwynn in there. Did you know that Nap Lajoie and Tony Gwynn have the same career batting average? 3,240, or no, 338 career batting average. These guys are similar, except that Gwynn has the 8 batting titles. Lajoie doesn't. You know why? Because Ty Cobb was in his way. Cobb was getting all the batting titles. In fact, one year they tied. They had a beef. That was interesting. You know what's interesting about Tony Gwynn and Nap Lajoie similarities? Gwynn had how many career hits? 3,141, right? Lajoie, 3,243. So let's do this just for the fun of it right now. Tony Gwynn. Let's punch him in. 338, same as Lajoie. Gwynn played 2,440 games. How many did Lajoie play? 2,480. Only 40 more games than Tony Gwynn. Now, Gwynn has how many hits? 3,141, right? And Lajoie has what? 3,243. So let's do the math. 3,243, 3,141. Lajoie got 102 more hits than Tony Gwynn, but he has 40 more games played. If Gwynn plays 40 more games, does he get 102 hits and either tie Lajoie or surpass him? Well, what you have to do is you have to figure out how many hits per game did Tony Gwynn average. All right, let's do this. Gwynn. All right, 3,141 divided by 2,440 games. Let's do it again. 3,141 divided by 2,440 games. Gwynn averaged 1.28 hits per game played, less than Lajoie's 1.31. Remember, I did the math on him. All right, so 40 more games Gwynn needs to tie Lajoie, right? So 40 times 1.28 hits per game would be 51 more hits. 31.41 for Gwynn, 51 would give him 31.92. He does not pass Lajoie. So I think in baseball history, can we make this proclamation? Or can we make this assumption? Maybe that's a better word, assumption. That Nap Lajoie was a better hitter than Tony Gwynn, based on the numbers, the stats. Now, Gwynn has the edge on batting titles, but I told you that Ty Cobb got in the way of Nap Lajoie. Otherwise, if Ty Cobb's not playing, Lajoie probably gets 7 or 8 batting titles. Wouldn't you agree with that? He was that good of a hitter. But since Cobb was in the way, he was getting all the batting titles. I think we can make the assumption that Ty Cobb was a better hitter than Nap Lajoie, based on the hits. And I told you that Cobb had a 1.38 average of hits per game played. Lajoie 1.31. So Ty Cobb is a better hitter than Nap Lajoie. But can we make the assumption that Nap Lajoie was better than Tony Gwynn? Now, Gwynn, I told you he has the 8 batting titles. But also Gwynn did something that Lajoie didn't do. He went 19 years in a row over 300. I told you that, right? Gwynn's first season, he batted 289. Then he went 19 in a row over 300. 20-year career. Lajoie didn't do that. Lajoie is he's on a string right now where he has let's go back to Lajoie. He's got 7 years in a row right now over 300. But if you look closely, 1908 season, batted 289. That broke his string. I think he had, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so Lajoie had 12 in a row. 12 300 batting seasons in a row. Then he batted 289. Then he went a couple more seasons over 300, and then he finished the last three under 300. Gwynn has the edge. Gwynn went 19 out of 20, 19 in a row, 300 or better. Excellent. But as far as hits and games played, Lajoie has a slight edge. Gwynn would have ended up with about 3,192 hits if he had played the exact number of games as Lajoie. But Lajoie would have finished about 50 hits better in the same number of games. They both have the same career batting average, 338. Here's the trivia question of the day. Who is a better hitter? Tony Gwynn or Nap Lajoie? If you ask me, I like the consistency of Tony Gwynn's 19 seasons in a row over 300. And they're close in number of hits, and they're close in a number of games. I got to give the edge to Tony Gwynn. But as far as stats, Lajoie eked out and got a little more than Tony Gwynn. But I'm going to take Gwynn a better hitter than Nap Lajoie. So that's my answer. What do you think? We can debate that. All right, 1902 in the book. We're going to keep looking at this guy, Nap Lajoie. His 1903 season is next. How did he do? Talk to you later. I'm out.